أعوذ بالله السميع العليم من الشيطان اللعين الرجيم بفضل الله بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الحمد لله والحمد حقه كما يستحقه حمدا كثيرا الحمد لله الذي هدانا لهذا وما كنا لنهتدي لولا أن هدانا الله اللهم لعن أول ظالم ظلم حق محمد وآل محمد وآخر تابع له على ذلك اللهم لعن العصابة التي جاهدت الحسين وشايعت وبايعت وتابعت على قتله اللهم لعنهم جميعا ثم الصلاة والسلام على خير خلق الله أجمعين محمد وعلى أهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين واللعنة الدائمة على أعدائهم أجمعين. This journey that people embark upon every year that carries so much weight and that carries so much importance. There must be a secret behind it. There must be a driving force. But before we understand this journey, we ask ourselves, why do people go on ziyarah? What is the purpose of a ziyarah? In one of the narrations, Al-Ameli alayhim as-salam, it is a form of showing your gratitude and your love for Ahlul Bayt to visit their graves. عائذ لائذ بقبوركم, as Imam Ali al-Hadi salamullah alayh in Ziyar Jami' al-Kabira says, that the people come to their graves. One of the things that there is an opposition to by some of the sects is they say it is haram for you to go to Medina with the intention of visiting the Prophet's grave. You have to go with the intention of visiting Masjid al-Nabawi Sharif, not the grave. But it is a form of me showing my love and my regard for this Imam. And its benefits we read over the nights, the reward that we get for traveling and visiting the shrines, visiting the graves. But I need to know who is Sahib Karbala, who is the one that rests in Karbala, who is the one that put Karbala on the map. What made Karbala a desert? If you notice of the, subhanallah, when something's linked to the heavens, the soil of Karbala is the only soil that's spread throughout the world. Every country you go to has the soil of Karbala. It's spread throughout the world. What is the secret behind this? I need to know who this person is, the destination that I go to. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wa sallam, when he ascended to the heavens in the Mi'raj, he says something. He says, I saw written on the throne, on the arsh of Allah Azza wa Jal. Some of the narrations mention the right side, some mention the floor of the arsh or the front of the arsh, that I saw something written. What did you see, Ya Rasulullah? He says, what was written? Inna. When we see the word inna, anytime in Arabic you see inna, this is called adat tawqid, which means certainly, or verily, or most surely, or indeed. That's what you'll see. Inna, certainly. Al-Husayn, Masbahu Hudan, or Masbah al-Huda, both of them. Wa Safinatun Najat. The Imam Hussein alayhi salam is Masbah Huda. Firstly, what is Huda to begin with, before we look at Masbah? Huda is the primary reason why, or the primary thing that was given for our survival on this earth. I'll explain what I mean by this. You know, when you are involved in some activity, or even you're playing a game, someone's playing a game, and there is a source that they need to collect, this is what makes them move on in the game. Some energy source. And this allows them to continue. This allows them to advance, to get their XPs or whatever they get in the games now. This allows them. Your dunya, for you to advance to the higher stages, you need huda. And in fact, what huda is, comes here. Huda, the word means guidance. So when I say huda, guidance, this is what Allah Azza wa Jal had told Adam and Hawa, Adam and Eve alayhim as-salam, when they were sent down to earth. اهبطوا منها جميعا. Allah Azza wa Jal said, all of you come down. فإنما يأتينكم مني وهدى فمن تبع هداي فلا خوف عليهم ولا هم يحزنون. The huda will come to you. Whoever follows the huda, they will not fear, nor will they grieve. This huda in the narrations comes from the Anbiya. So the Anbiya are a form of huda. That's why when Musa went to the burning bush, what does it say? أو أجد على النار هدى. The prophethood. This is where it is. Allah Azza wa Jal mentions the Quran as huda. ذلك الكتاب لا ريب فيه هدى للمتقين. The Quran is a form of guidance. The Kaaba Sharifa للذي ببكة مباركة وهدى للعالمين. The Kaaba is a form of guidance. These are all forms of guidance. However, Imam Hussein is Misbah al-Huda. Misbah is what? If you take a look at the moon, the moon is not a source of light. The moon reflects the sun. You know, it's when you see the moon and it's lit in the air, it's the sun's light that's on the moon, and the moon always has the same face. That's why there's the dark side of the moon and the light side of the moon. It's not like it's a source of light, but the sun is a source of light. Imam Hussein alayhi salam is Misbah, means he is the source of huda. He is the actual source of guidance. Inna al-Husayn Misbah huda. And what else? وَسَفِينَةُ النَّجَاةِ. وَسَفِينَةُ النَّجَاةِ. He is the ark or the ship of salvation. The Safina, the ship of salvation. You want to be saved? You ride on the ship of Abu Abdullah al-Husayn alayhi salam. People ask, how is this so? You say, this mambar. How many people have been changed by this mambar? How many people have sat down and listened and began to pray because of this mambar? How many women have started wearing hijab because of this mambar? The mambar of Abu Abdullah al-Husayn is a source of guidance. It brings people to Islam. One man got into a taxi in Iran with another man, and this man was a taxi driver. He said, when I saw him, his appearance, he didn't look like your common taxi driver. He was a man of good appearance. He looked youthful. He looked like suave. He didn't look like someone that would ride a cab. Not saying, no offense to people that drive cabs, but he said it didn't have that common appearance that you see. He said, so I asked him, how long have you been a cab driver for? He said, for 1.5 years. He said, what were you doing before this? He said, the man smiled. He said, you don't want to know. He said, no, please tell me. He said, I used to be a singer. I used to go to parties and sing for people. And I didn't know anything about religion. And he said, then what brought you towards religion? He said, well, during the year, when Muharram comes around, everyone attends the Majlis, so I have no work to do. I sit at home. One day, it had a week or so had gone in the Majlis. I got bored. So I went to the Majlis. He went on the 9th of Muharram, the 9th night. Taban, with the Iraqis, the 7th night is the night of Abu Fadl Abbas, alayhi salam. With the subcontinent, it's usually the 8th. And with the Iranians, it's the 9th. It's all different. So he said, I went on the 9th night. And he said they were talking about a man in this majlis. Talking about his man, and they called him Qamar bin Hashim. This man that was Qamar, and not only illuminant, as a person of great features. And he was chivalrous, valiant, brave. And when he said he was reading his musibah and he was fighting, he said, I heard him say, the Qari, that this man's right arm was struck off. And he said, when I heard this is where I was no longer listening to Majlis, because he said one word and I just sat there and thought about it. He said his arm was severed and removed, and all he said was, Wallahi, in qata'tu yamini, inni uhami abadan an dini. That although you've severed my right arm, forever I will continue to protect my religion. He said, I didn't hear the rest of the majlis. I just sat there and thought, this man lost his right arm, and all he's thinking about is preserving his religion. This religion that this man thought of preserving, all these years I've been stepping up and down on it with all the actions I did. From that point, he said, I decided I'm going to change. This is a common story. It happens with people. They come to a majlis. One sister once told me, a Muslim girl, she told me, I attended a majlis, and when I heard the speaker talk about those that listen to singing and music, that on the day of judgment they'll have molten lead poured into their ears. You know what molten lead is? You know what's the temperature that for lead to melt? What temperature are you talking about? Any chemists see? Well, 300, that's right. 300 degrees Celsius. Good, someone knew this. You're looking at water, boils at 100 degrees, and it will burn you. Milk probably gets up to about 120, oil probably 180 to 200. And you put your finger near the oil. Have you ever had an oil burn? Imagine molten lead, which reaches 300 degrees Celsius, is poured down their ears. She said, I heard this after she went to the Sheikh and said, what do I do? He told her, bring me all your music CDs. At that time, people don't even know what CDs are, some of the people present here. You know, imagine I said to them, floppy disk, they wouldn't even know what the hell I'm talking about. So anyway, so he said, bring all the CDs. She bought all the CDs, And he threw them out for her. She said, from that day, I stopped. This mambar is what brings people together. All walks of life go on the mashayikh to visit Abu Abdullah al-Hussein. So who is this imam? And what is his position? In the ziyarat, we listen to some of the points that are mentioned in the ziyarat. I need to have ma'rifah of the imam. In this ziyarah, he says, the imam says, فَأَشْهَدُ أَنَّكَ ابْنُ خَاتَمِ النَّبِيِّينَ. Firstly, and this is an important point, is to know that Imam Hussein is the son of Rasulullah. Even Muhammad ibn al-Hanafiyyah, who was a strong soldier, the son of Amir al-Mu'mineen, he at one point complained to his father. He said, I feel you treat Hassan and Hussein better than me. He said to him, my son, you are my son, but they are the sons of Rasulullah. So the sons of Rasulullah are more favored to me than my own son. Ashhadu, I testify that you are the son of the seal of the prophets. Firstly, that's what I need to understand. Yabna Rasulullah. He is the son of Rasulullah. That holds a lofty position. See, sometimes people, this is something I get when someone complains, why do we give extra respect to a Sayyid? And I said to them, fundamentally, you all do this automatically. Whenever someone's good to you, you're good to their children. I remember one guy came to Hajj with us, and he was from Bayt al-Hur. Okay? And the ulama, actually one of the ulama called us and said, look after this man. And we said, okay. He said, because his great-great-grandfather is who? Al-Hur Al-Ameli. So his great-great-grandfather is this great alim, so respect him. Hur Al-Ameli was around a long time ago, over 3-4 decades ago. And we have to respect. Imagine how many generations. Howbeit when someone is from the descendants of Rasulullah, a descendant of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. So my respect is respect to Rasulullah in this manner and in this regard. So the Imam is the son of Rasulullah. That's the first point. And then he says, وَابْنُ سَيِّدْ الْمُؤْمِنِينَ. When we say Sayyid al-Mu'mineen, he meaning Amir al-Mu'mineen. You are also the son of who? The master of the believers. Who's that? Ali ibn Abi Talib. Of the titles of Ali ibn Abi Talib, Amir al-Mu'mineen, it's exclusive to him. No one else can use this title. He is the Amir of the Mu'mineen. He is the commander. He is the prince of the faithful, of the believers. Then he starts to explain also what Amir al-Mu'mineen is. He says, وَابْنَ حَلِيفِ التَّقْوَى. You know when we say Halif, Halif is an ally or a confederate. You are the son of the confederate or the ally of piety. Amir al-Mu'mineen is the ally of piety. So first he's telling him that your father is the master of believers and he's also the ally of piety. وَسَلِيلُ الْهُدَى. Salil, that you are the offspring, you're of what? Of guidance. Amir al-Mu'mineen is also guidance. وَخَامِسُ أَصْحَابِ الْكِسَاءِ. You are the fifth member of Ashab al-Kisa. Why do we remember the story of Ashab al-Kisa? Why is it very important to remember Hadith al-Kisa? A great thing happened. Hadith al-Kisa is mentioned in our books and the other books, in the Sunni books as well. It's mentioned in their narrations. They mention that Rasulullah came. They don't mention it in the full narration that we have on Jabir ibn Abdullah al-Ansari, but he came and asked for a Yemenite cloak, and he called his family beneath the cloak, And even in the narration in the Sunni text, it says, Salama said, can I join you? He said, no, you are not of Ashab al-Kisa. You know, sometimes when people say the wives of the Prophet are of Ahl al-Bayt, no. The narration says they're not. But he says to Salama, وَلَكِنَّكِ عَلَى خَيْرٍ. You're a good woman. طبعا to Salama. It's not an open ticket for every wife. So anyway, that she is ala khair. She is righteous. Now when he calls him in, the fifth member of Ashab al-Kisa is Abu Abdullah al-Hussein. What took place here? Allah sent down His revelation, and He said, "Inni ma khalaqtu sama'an mabniya." He said basically the heavens, the earth, every creation that I created, لِأَجْلِ هَؤُلَاءِ الْخَمْسَةِ. For these five, this is the reason of all creation. That's what I need to know. I am visiting the one that is the cause of the creation, the reason behind the creation. And then he says, وَابْنُ سَيِّدْ النُّقَبَاء, that you are the son of the master of the distinguished people, of the nobles. Because Banu Hashim were the nobles. You're not just from anyone. They were the best of the people of Quraysh. Then he goes on to mention that you are the son of Fatima as well. Sayyidat Fatima, Sayyidat al-Nisa. And then, right at the end of this part, he says to him, he says that you فَطِبْتَ حَيًّا وَطِبْتَ مَيِّتًا, that you are living whether you are alive, and you are living whether you are dead. But what happened? He says, غَيْرَ أَنَّ قُلُوبَ الْمُؤْمِنِينَ غَيْرُ طَيِّبَةٍ لِفِرَاقِكَ. But the hearts of the believers aren't. They're dead because they miss you. That it's harmed the believers. The one that loves Imam Hussein. You know, someone says, am I a mu'min? Am I a believer? You ask yourself, do you want to know if you're a mu'min or not? The hadith says, in the heart of every mu'min, there is a burning flame that does not get turned out for Abu Abdullah Hussein. If you have a burning flame within your heart for Imam Hussein, then you are a believer. This is a sign to know that you are a believer, to know that your position in this. So I have to understand his position with regard to the universe and his position with regard to life. As I mentioned before, he is Misbahu Huda. The Imam Hussein alayhi salam is the lantern of guidance, and he is Safinatun Najat. Now, what is the importance of his ziyarah? Why is it people go on this journey and visit the shrine of Abu Abdullah Hussein? I need to know the position. Did you know there's a hadith, an authentic narration, where in the heavens there is a grand commotion. The angels are flocking in a certain direction. When they ask about this commotion, the Imam replies that this commotion is the angels that have come down to visit Abu Abdullah Hussein al-Sam. When they rise back to the heavens, every angel runs to touch them, to get from the dust of the angels that visited the shrine of Abu Abdullah Hussein. If it's a commotion for the angels, and we are told when someone returns from ziyarah, you have people that have gone ziyarah, visit them before other people visit them. Try and get this barakah before someone else gets it. Imam al-Sadiq salawatullahi wa salamu alayhi, in one of the narrations, he is praying and he is in sujood and he is weeping. And there's another authentic chain of narrators. While he is praying and he is weeping, he asks Allah. He does tawassul to Allah, and then he says, I ask you, after he does all the tawassul, to اغفر li, to forgive me, wali akhwani, and my brothers, wali zuwar qabru abi al-Husayn alayhi salam. 3 people, he says to forgive me and my brothers and the ones that are visiting the grave of my father Al-Husayn. In this narration, he says, Oh Allah, inni astawdi'uka, I have entrusted you with this. Imagine, it's not me placing a trust with God, it's the 6th holy Imam, Hujjatullah ala al-Khalq, has entrusted this dua with who? With Rabb al-Izzati wal-Jalal. He supplicates for those that visit Imam Hussein. Imam Ali ibn Mohammed al-Hadi alayhi salam, in a narration, he says to one of his companions, have you been to visit the Imam? And the companion says no. He says, then go visit him, Imam Hussein alayhi salam. So on the time the man is going to visit him, he comes to tell the Imam, I'm off to visit him, would you like anything? And the Imam said, please, when you get there, do dua for me. It's Imam al-Hadi, not just anybody. It's Imam. This is someone that raises his hand to the heavens and everything will happen. And if you want to understand what their position is when it comes to dua, there's one hadith where the people are, it's a big drought in Mecca. Taban, it doesn't rain that often in Mecca, it's rare, but they just need enough, the desert needs just enough rain for the vegetation to grow. So there's no rain, there's been a long drought. The people are there and they're doing Salat al-Istisqa where? In Masjid al-Haram in front of the Kaaba. And it doesn't rain. The one that narrates this is Malik ibn Dinar, who was a Sunni alim. He says, while we were praying, he says, and a young man that was Nawrani came and he said to us, what are you doing? They said, we are praying Salat al-Istisqa. And then this man said, why isn't it raining then? أَلَيْسَ فِيكُمْ أَحَدْ يُحِبُّهُ اللَّهُ. Is there not anyone amongst you whom Allah loves? And then he said, I will pray. He says he prays. And he says, I'm listening to what he says in the prayer. He says, Allahumma bihubbika li. I ask you by your love to me that you let it rain. Just by your love to me. He says he did not raise his head from sujood while he was praying, except it started raining and flooded Mecca, the amount of rain. So I asked, Ya hada, how did you know Allah Azza wa Jalla loves you? He said, had he not loved me, he would not have chosen me as his representative. I asked about him, they said, this is Ali ibn al-Husayn ibn Ali, Imam Zayn al-Abidin alayhi salam. So these Imams, if they ask, there's immediate response. Immediately there is a response. Twice Imam Hussein in Karbala did dua on people. One where he said to one of the people that, may you never get satiated from water. And this man died of thirst. The water will not satiate him. And the other one was where he supplicated about Umar ibn Sa'd, may you be killed in your bed. And he was killed in his bed. When the Imam supplicates, this is what happens. So Imam al-Hadi can supplicate like this. Why does he ask this companion to do dua and the Qabr al-Husayn? So the man turns around and says, Yabna Rasulullah, you are the hujjat, you are, as we say, Antil kul bil kul. You're everything. Why do you want me to do the supplication for you? The Imam says to him, there are places where Allah likes to hear the dua. There are select places where Allah wants to hear dua. The grave of Abu Abdullah al-Hussein is one of those places where Allah does not reject the da'i, does not reject the one that supplicates and asks Allah for something. He won't reject them in this place. So therefore, this is a place where people supplicate. So here's the problem. Last night I mentioned the story about the na'im and what the na'im was. And this is why people don't understand the importance of the ziyarah. They're too submerged in this world. When we become too submerged and we start to listen to everything around us, you know, a lot of the people in the world today, I don't know if you ever listened to like postmodernists. You ever listen to them? They don't make any sense. And because people can't understand them, they just agree with them. They don't understand what the people are talking about. Or, those economists that speculate, and the shares jump up and down just on their speculation. These people that talk gibberish, but others just follow them. Even evolutionary biologists, all they talk is gibberish. If you actually study what they talk about, and to give you an idea, they link many, like they'll study fossils, embryology and all this, and they'll link them together, and then they say this proves the process of natural selection and evolution. And so it's a long study, and they go through 7 or 8 different forms of evidence that they call, which isn't really evidence, and they put it together and they say this is proof of what we're saying. It's a bit like circumstantial evidence. You know, when police, for example, I'll give you an idea of what I'm trying to say. If, for example, there was $5,000 on this podium just here, and I was here, and a witness said that they saw me next to the money. Another witness said he saw me at the shopping centre spending. Another witness said he saw money at my house. Okay? And another witness said he saw me with a new item that I purchased. They call this circumstantial evidence. Why? Because a witness said he saw me standing next to money. A witness saw me spending money. A witness saw me with money. And a witness saw me with a new item. But no one saw me take the money. So it proves nothing. Because I could have been spending my own money the whole time. So this is inadmissible in court. They don't accept circumstantial evidence. This is pretty much how evolutionary biologists try and prove their way of thinking and their beliefs. So people that follow this Darwinian thought, they're too submerged in belonging to the masses, and not because if you're told you believe in God, people go, oh, you're silly, you still believe in God. That's the way that you're treated. You're shunned off. So people try and look at things differently. Oh, why do people Zul al-Hussein? Have you ever heard those people that when you're going to the Hajj, subhanAllah, the second you want to go Hajj or Ziyarat al-Hussein, Baba, why do you want to go to Ziyarat al-Hussein? Why do you need to go Hajj? Go give your money to the poor. Do you know there's Majia? Does he say the same thing when he's going to Ibiza or Phuket? Do they say that when he's on his way to Phuket? No. They won't say that. Why is it when I want to go to ziyarah or to the Hajj, automatically it conflicts with the poor? Why can't I give money to the poor and go ziyarah? Why is it like when someone wants to get married, the second you tell them they want to get married, he needs to study. This is one of the most ridiculous arguments. It's like saying that everyone is celibate in university. Everyone looks at each other. The guys sit on one side, the women sit on the other. No one talks to each other. People still have relationships in university. Doesn't prevent their study. Doesn't prevent them to advance in their study in any way whatsoever. So for me to come up with the idea that it's conflicting and being submerged in this world is what causes me to make these wrong decisions. And you'll find the same people are the same people that rally behind abortion. They're the same people that rally behind same-gender marriage, because they want to belong to this new age of thinking. But this is wrong. And eventually they want to destroy all of the Husseini rituals. Why do you beat your chest? Why do you do this? What? But they run out of traditions, they don't know what to do anymore. So they make up their own traditions. I remember when Phil Hughes, Australian batsman, died in cricket. Do you know what they did? They all put a bat outside the front of their house because they run out of traditions. They've killed all their religious traditions, so they started putting a bat outside the front. Where do you come up with these ideas? And then a woman died on a wedding day and they want to put a wedding dress out the front of their house. Seriously. Because they don't know what to do anymore. They've killed every religious tradition, so they make some bogus tradition and stupid tradition in order to cover up for this. But what makes these people lose this concept? They're too submerged in this world. Amir al-Mu'mineen Ali ibn Abi Talib alayhi salam says in a hadith, Man zahida fi dunya walam yajza min dhulliha walam yunafis في عزها هداه الله بغير هداية من مخلوق وعلمه بغير تعليم وأثبت الحكمة في صدره وأجراها على لسانه. من زهد في الدنيا. However, when we say zuhud, the word zuhud, they usually use asceticism. When we're talking about asceticism, we're not talking about Buddhist form of asceticism. This is not Islam. Now, you know how the Buddhists, they cut themselves off from the world completely. That's why Buddha was Siddhartha Gautama, that was the Buddha. What did he do? Do you know what he actually did? Why they call him the enlightened one? That's what Buddha means. He left he walked out on his wife and his son, and he just went and lived out in the wilderness to cut himself up from worldly desires. Could you imagine everyone did this? There would be no procreation, the whole world would fall apart. It's nonsensical. A woman came up to Imam al-Sadiq alayhi salam and said, Ya ibna Rasulullah, inni zahida, I'm an ascetic. And he said to her, what does this mean to you? She said, I do not get married. I'm that ascetic, I stay away from men. The Imam said, Anti azhad am Fatima. Are you more ascetic or Fatima? She said, of course Fatima. He said, Fatima got married. Where do you come up with these ideas? You have the Sufis, the same way, the mystics. They sit there and they try and live in a life where they eat one pistachio. This isn't religion. You're not supposed to sit in the mosque 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. This isn't Islam. So zuhud for dunya means not attaching yourself to this world. Like, I can have a nice car as long as I own the car doesn't own me. You know those people that have a car, they wax it every day, they wash it, and if you come, are your shoes clean? And it's his life. You know, the whole time they look at their car, they take it outside, they look at it, they sit on different angles, and they take selfies with the car to make sure that everyone knows how good this car is. The car becomes the one that drives him, and he's not the one that actually drives the car. So zahada fi dunya, someone that cuts off the dunya in this manner, is not attached. And is not someone that is abased by the dunya. Allah Azza wa Imam says, Hadahu Allah, someone that's not become undone by this dunya. So these people are submerged. Who's this talking about? This hadith is talking about people like you. And I'm not saying this as lip service. This is a Saturday night. You could be out anywhere right now. Saturday night. Who wants to come to a Husayniyya and sit and listen to a Majlis? Your love for Imam Hussein has cut you off from the dunya. Did you come here because you love Abu Abdullah Hussein? You know, you've been working the whole week. This is where you rest. But instead, your love for Imam Hussein brings you to the Majlis. And that's why, if you notice, the believer always has authority over everyone. That when they talk, they always have the stronger argument. In all cases. Why? He says, Hadahu Allah. Remember, I said sometimes you say something and you go, where did I come up with this? Hadahu Allah. بِغَيْرِ هِدَايَةٍ مِّن مَخْلُوقٍ. That Allah will guide them with a guidance other than from His creation. Allah will give him a guidance. He will guide them. وَعَلَّمَهُ بِغَيْرِ تَعْلِيمٍ وَأَثْبَتَ الْحِكْمَةَ فِي صَدْرِهِ وَأَجْرَاهَا عَلَى لِسَانِهِ. Allah will teach him without him learning. He'll give him ilm. And He will give him wisdom, and He'll make the wisdom flow from his tongue. Isn't this what happened to Luqman al-Hakim? Luqman al-Hakim was asleep. The angel came and offered him the dunya. He turned the dunya away. فَأَصْبَحَ وَلَهُ الْحِكْمَةِ. He woke up and he had wisdom. Allah gave him wisdom because he rejected the dunya. You people were submerged, you wouldn't be here. If the people that visit the shrine of Abu Abdullah al-Hussein, some of these people save. You're not talking about people that come from the West, that must be easier. Some people come from other countries where money isn't available to them like it is in our countries, in the Western world. They save their money to visit the shrine of Abu Abdullah al-Hussein. They have cut themselves off from the dunya. They have associated themselves with the hereafter. See, and even every year they'll come up with something to stop the ziyarah. This year, do you remember the rallies that were stirred up? I mean, what's really weird about these rallies? Some people say, oh, well, the people are people are asking for their rights. I said, why did they ask for their rights just before the Arbaeen? They had years. It's like, the Iraqi Prime Minister just started stealing yesterday. They've been stealing from day dot. One thief begets another. One thief succeeds another. Why before the Arbaeen do you want to do the rallies? This is stirred up by the enemies of Islam. Even the visas, when if you're not a non-Iraqi, the people that were going, at first the embassy was making the visas difficult because of this stage. And some people were disheartened and didn't go. They go, oh, there must be trouble in Iraq. They don't want to go anymore. They backed off at this point. And once again, as usual, the naysayers that get up and say, why do you need to Zur al-Hussein? The Hussein's in your heart. Go. Rather than, why do we need to do this mashi? Why are we so backwards? Why do we need to close the jam'at? These same people that speak like this is because they're submerged in this world. What do you mean? Why? This is more important than everything. Imam Hussein alayhi salam, people forgot the fruit of Imam Hussein's stance. Where was Imam Hussein? Was he vacationing before he went to Karbala? He was in Hajj. He was in Hajj. Hajj is of the fara'id. Once you wear the ihram, you can't take the ihram off. You can't just remove the ihram. There is a way for the ihram to be removed. But Imam Hussein alayhi salam broke the Hajj. Why? Because he needed to show Islam. He said, I have to go. I have left لطلب الإصلاح في أمتي جدي. I've gone to what? He's gone to rectify and remedy and rebuild and maintain the religion of his grandfather Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. And it didn't stop there. They didn't stop. Conveniently, they also made a documentary about pleasure marriages just before the Arbaeen. Did you notice? Just before it, they made the documentary. And people came out. I remember, because I had someone call me, and he was going off on a rant. How do you people, as if I'm on the street trading these girls, how do you people accept this? I said, listen here. Why are you so upset? Why don't you go search what happened on Jeffrey Epstein's Love Island that suddenly got forgotten? When all these world leaders, Bill Clinton, Donald Trump, Prince Andrew, Ehud Barak, Alan Dershowitz, all of them were on this Love Island, I don't know how many more, with underage girls, and all of a sudden it's been silenced. No one's speaking about it. And these girls were taken by force. And I'll go furthermore, there is another island that you people have forgotten. Another island that's out of jurisdiction from all the West, where they have Muslims that have been imprisoned there for almost 20 years and up to now, Guantanamo Bay. Who talks about it? No one. The rights of people have been taken everywhere around the world, and they say, oh, you know, what do you expect is going to happen in Iraq? There's war, there's poverty. This is what happens after war. These things happen. Who brought the war? You did, and now you're complaining about it. The same people, the British, the BBC made the documentary. Who brought the war to Iraq? Who was the one that supported Saddam? I remember when I was younger, I used to always debate about 15, 16 years, I used to always debate with this American guy. And every time the argument would open up, I'd send him the picture of Donald Rumsfeld shaking hands with Saddam. Every time he opened it, there was a little gif, I'd send it to him. You know, I said, a picture speaks 1,000 words. I don't need to tell you. Because every time he said Saddam, I said, yours. He's yours. Look at Trump, look at Rumsfeld, how happy he was to see Saddam. He's your guy. And then you put him in there and you supported him. You know, in 91, the Iraqis were going to overthrow Saddam. There was a no-fly zone. Then Norman Schwarzkopf removed the no-fly zone, and Saddam was able to take power again. They supported this. The war takes place. Something occurs like what happened with these pleasure marriages they were doing. And then they say, look what's happening. This is the fruits of your destruction and debilitating this country. It's your fruits. Why are you making the documentary? This documentary should be against you and nobody else, rather than put it on against somebody in this. However, this didn't stop the masses that went to Karbala. All this, it didn't stop them. It was the love of Imam Hussein. They love Imam Hussein. It's inside their hearts. They love the one that gave everything to Allah. People yearn to be. That's why we say, Ya laytana kunna ma'akum. Only if we were there to give. This was the ultimate sacrifice. So what happened on the day of Arbaeen? On the day of Arbaeen, when we mention this, Atiyah al-Awfi is the one that narrates that I was with Jabir ibn Abdullah al-Ansari. Remember, Jabir was not just any man. Jabir was one that saw Rasulullah. He sat with Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Jabir was entrusted with giving salam. Imagine, this is an unbelievable prophecy. Rasulullah said, I want you to give salam to my great-grandchild Muhammad ibn Ali al-Baqir. He actually told him that. You will see him. This is a prophecy. That you will live, O Jabir, to see my great-grandchild, and when you see him, give him my salam. That's how long you will be alive for. Jabir was unable to partake in Karbala because he was blind. There was a lot of good people that didn't partake, like Abdullah ibn Aziz, Abdullah ibn Afif al-Azdi. Abdullah ibn Afif al-Azdi, you've heard of him. He was a companion of Amir al-Mu'mineen alayhi salam. He lost his right eye in Siffin, and he lost his left eye in Nahrawan. This guy was a soldier. And when Imam Hussein went to Karbala, he couldn't join, he was blind. But when he was in Majlis ibn Ziyad, and Ibn Ziyad said, Alhamdulillah, alladhi nasarana wa qatala al-kadhab ibn al-kadhab. Praise be to Allah, the one that gave us victory and allowed us to kill the liar, the son of the liar. So this is how filthy Ubaydullah ibn Ziyad was. Abdullah ibn Afif al-Azdi, he said, please turn me and let me face Ibn al-Zaniya. Let me face this son of the adulteress. Let me face him. They turned him towards him. He said, Anta al-kadhab, anta wa abuk. You are the liar, you and your father. So then they came, he sent his soldiers, and his people allowed him to escape the masjid, and he still fought them. They came to his house. His daughter remained behind him and told him where the enemies were coming, and he fought them until he was killed and martyred. Ridwanullahi ta'ala alayh. And he was blind. Jabir ibn Abdullah al-Ansari was blind, and he was the first one. He went with Atiyah towards Karbala. When he arrived at Karbala, he went towards Nahr al-Furat, and he performed ghusl. And then he wore new garments, and he dressed in these fine new garments. He put attar on, he put some perfume on. And then he said to Atiyah, he said, lead me towards the graves. Because the mountains weren't marked. He said, how would you know which one is the grave of Al-Hussein? He said, get from the soil of the grave and bring it towards me, because I will smell the scent of Rasulullah and I'll know which is the grave of Al-Hussein. So Atiyah went and got some of the soil from grave to grave or mound, and then when he smelt it, he said, this is it. Take me to this grave. When he arrived on this grave, he threw himself upon this grave. He threw himself upon this grave and he began to weep. He wept and he wept and wept, and he said, oh my beloved Habibi Hussein. He says, my beloved Hussein. He says, why do you not answer your beloved? Why is it that you do not respond to your beloved? Why haven't you replied to me? This is the love of the broken-hearted that is there to visit. But let's go back to how these graves were buried. Allah Azza wa Jal did not allow the body of Imam Hussein to stay longer than the 3 days. By miracle, Imam Zayn al-Abidin returned, and him with the tribe of Banu al-Asad, he said to them, please help me so I can bring together these graves, so I can bury them. So first, he uncovered these graves were already dug up. It's not like they weren't dug up. These graves were already, just like when Amir al-Mu'mineen was buried, the grave was already dug. When Imam al-Hasan Mushtaba came to bury him, he said he uncovered a tomb and it was dug up, and it said this tomb was dug up by Nuhun Nabiyullah li-Ali wasiyu Muhammad. This grave was already dug up by Nuh, the Prophet of God, for Ali, the successor of Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. And in this case, the graves had been dug by Rasulullah. But Imam Zayn al-Abidin alayhi salam looked at Banu Asad. He said, give me a hasir. Give me some kind of a sheet. Why would he ask for this? Because the Imam's body wasn't in one piece. Inna jaddi al-Husayn qutila sabra. Do you know Imam Hussein alayhi salam, they dismembered his body while he was still alive. While he was alive, they were cutting pieces from him. So he looked around and bought all the pieces. He said, there's still a piece missing. He said, the pinky of the Imam is missing. Because one of the la'ins, in order to remove his aqiq from his hand, he cut off his pinky. So he brought back the pinky. He brought the body together and then placed it in the grave. Then there was the bodies of the companions which he buried nearby. Then he looked around and he said, I need to find the body of my brother Ali. He went to look for the body of his brother Ali in Al-Akbar, and then he found the body of Ali Al-Akbar. He buried it before the feet of Abu Abdullah Al-Hussein. During the day of Ashura, on the night of Ashura, on the day of Ashura, when Abdullah Radi' was killed by Harmala, Imam Hussein, with the hilt of his sword, had dug a grave and buried him there. And now when the tribes at the end of Ashura, at the end of the day, they went and took the heads of the family of Imam Hussein and his companions. One tribe did not have a head. Each tribe wanted to carry a head on a spear so they can walk into Ubaydullah bin Ziyad and gain reward. So they said, we do not have a head, we need a head. One of the people present said, I remember I saw Al-Hussein when his infant was killed, behind the tent he's used his sword and he buried the infant. Go see if that body is still there. So they went there and they dug it up and they decapitated the head of the infant and placed it on the spear. Imam Zayn al-Abidin took the body of the infant and he placed that next to the head of Abu Abdullah al-Hussein. Then he went looking towards the shore of the Furat. And there he found a body without arms, a body that was lying there, a body that was on a journey in order, it was on a mission to bring back some water. And he brought him back and buried him where he was. And he went to find the arms of this man, of Abu al-Fadl Abbas alayhi salam, in order to bury them all. Imagine this task for Imam Ali ibn al-Hussein. How do people even question the fact that he wept? Wept for 34 years. Imam Zayn al-Abidin did not eat or drink once without filling the utensil that he would eat from with tears from how much he wept over Abu Abdullah al-Hussein. He witnessed all this before his eyes, and he couldn't avail the Hussein. He was not given the permission. Allah had inflicted him with an illness just on that day. He wasn't ill the whole time. Just that one day he was ill, so that he was not allowed to fight. Allah refused for this. So Jabir visited the Hussein on the day of Arbaeen. And the Imam taught us to read the ziyarah. As-salamu ala waliyillah wa habibih. Ziyarah made for the day of Arbaeen. In this ziyarah, the Imam mentions something when it comes to cursing the enemies of the Imam. He says, فَلَعَنَ اللَّهُ مَنْ قَتَلَكَ. May Allah curse the one who killed you. وَلَعَنَ اللَّهُ مَنْ ظَلَمَكَ. May Allah curse the one who oppressed you. وَلَعَنَ اللَّهُ أُمَّةً سَمِعَتْ بِذَلِكَ فَرَضِيَتْ بِهِ. Those that accepted it, may Allah curse them likewise. May Allah curse such people. The people that were there and accepted it. The people that did not partake even in killing Imam Hussein but were present are cursed. The ones that heard of the story of Imam Hussein and did not do anything are also cursed. Tomorrow is the day of Arbaeen. It's recommended for you to do ziyarat al-Arbaeen for Imam Hussein, even from Ba'id, even from far. That you ask Allah Azza wa Jal to write you as one of the Zawar in the following Arbaeen. This should be your intention, to do this. Do not miss the opportunity. You don't know how long this opportunity is available. When I was a child, my father used to speak about this. He used to tell us, we used to do Ziyat al-Arbaeen. This was during the time of Saddam. So when I was a child, it was during the time of Saddam. We weren't able to go visit, go do the Mashay. There was no such thing. After 2000, it existed but in secret. After 2003, when the floodgates opened, we are in the golden age of ziyarah. Ask Allah Azza wa Jal, بحق هذه الليلة, that not one of you is here the year after but in Karbala. We ask Allah Azza wa Jal that all of you are written of Zawar Abu Abdullah al-Hussein, most importantly on these nights and every night. And this is where we lack. We have to ask Allah for our faraj, the salvation. Do dua for the Imam, because when you do dua for the Imam does dua for you. We ask Allah to hasten the reappearance of our master Al-Hujjat ibn al-Hasan Al-Mehdi. Arwahuna fida. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ali Muhammad. Allahumma kun li walika al-Hujjat ibn al-Hasan صلواتك عليه وعلى آبائه في هذه الساعة وفي كل ساعة وليا وحافظا وقائدا وناصرا ودليلا وعينا حتى تسكنه أرضك طوعا وتمتع فيها طويلا برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين. وإلى أرواح المؤمنين والمؤمنات وإلى أرواح موتانا وموتاكم نهدي لهم ثواب مجلسنا هذا وثواب سورة المباركة الفاتحة مع الصلوات.